Hello, hello. Welcome back to another exciting episode of YOML, Year of Magical Learning. Today we're on book 79. And I think this one maybe a little bit something you can relate, Chris. So, I'll let you talk about it.
Yeah. Do you know anything about this book, by the way?
I don't, but I think we talked about it before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we did. We talked about it, but yeah. Okay. So the book today is Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close by the author Jonathon Safran Foer or Foer. I think it's Foer. And this book is about actually they turned it into a movie, I think, with Tom Hanks. Maybe in like
did it come out yet?
Yeah, it was like in the mid 2000s, I think. When this came out. Yeah. So this was a really big hit novel. I remember seeing the previews for it. I never saw the movie actually, but I remember seeing the previews for it.
What's the name of the movie? You remember?
It's called Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. The
Oh,
movie
really?
is.
Okay.
So it was based off of this book, obviously.
Right.
And the I remember seeing the previews for this movie actually back in, whenever it came out, and I was like, man, I don't want anything to do with that. 9/11 was still pretty raw.
Mm-hmm.
Not like incredibly like soon after it, but it was soon enough that I was like, I don't want to see a story about a kid that lost their dad in 9/11. Like I just didn't feel like it was something I really wanted to go, I don't know, learn anything about, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not exactly sure how I even stumbled upon this book, to be honest with you. I don't know. I don't know what made me want to read this one. I can't even remember the origins of how I found this, but for some weird reason I did, and here we are. But the book is about this uh young 9-year-old. His name is Oscar Schell, and he has embarked on an urgent secret mission that'll take him to the 5 boroughs in New York. His goal is to
Mm-hmm.
find this lock that matches this mysterious key that belonged to his dad, who died in the World Trade Center on September 11th.
Mm-hmm.
So Oscar basically goes around. Oscar has autism, or he's on the autistic scale as well, or spectrum, or whatever you call it. So he's a little unique kid anyway. In general, he's very smart, very bright, very I don't know. It's hard to describe Oscar as a character, but he's just like very witty, smart, and bright.
Mm-hmm.
And determined as well. He follows the rules, but he's okay with breaking them sometimes if he can find like loopholes around it using rationality and things like that. And anyway, one day he was searching, and he was just sad, and he was searching through his dad's closet and some of his old stuff, and he found this old key, and he was like, I don't, and his dad's like tuxedo or whatever that he had hung over this chair in his parents' closet that he was supposed to be wearing in the next couple of days or something like that. And he had never seen this before, and he yeah, he wondered what it went to. So he used to do all these puzzles and things and like games with his dad where they would
Mm-hmm.
like have like these kind of adventures
So it's
together, where he
almost
would just
like
give
this
him.
is an unfinished game, right?
Yeah, it's an unfinished game, exactly. So this was he thought at least maybe his dad was leaving him a clue for something, and this was like just another game that his dad wanted to, like his last game that his dad wanted to play with him. So this was like a really important thing for Oscar. He spent the whole book going around all the 5 boroughs trying to find the key, or find the lock that fit the key in, and solve the puzzle. But the whole entire time that he was doing this, obviously he was, I mean, exploring a lot of things that he discovered along the way, but he also got to stay connected with his dad the whole entire time. And and it was an interesting story, just in general. I don't it's not a true story, so I have a little bit of problems with the author taking liberties of writing about such a sensitive topic that I don't know what the author's background is. But I mean, this is a pretty sensitive thing of not only the 9/11 tragedy,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
autistic kid, a child losing a
Right.
parent. Like, I mean, there's a lot of really touching topics in this whole entire book, but at the same time, like, it was written pretty well, and I appreciated it. So it made me think of onto the reflection when after I finished this book. This is one of those rare fiction books that I read, I guess, in this whole entire journey. But when I finished this book, the reflection title is the origin of every epic quest is always pain. And this is my thoughts, I guess. Oscar was in a ton of pain. I mean, he missed his dad incredibly. It was, I can't, here it goes. I can't even imagine what it must be like to lose a parent when you're 9 years old in such a tragedy like that, right? I mean, that's something that I don't want to imagine. And I don't, I've seen it on the other side of it. I've lost a child, but I can't imagine, what it would be like to be a 9-year-old and, have your dad tragically pass away in such a visibly striking thing in the city you live in, and and a traumatic event that everybody kind of felt the reverberations, or I don't know if that's the right word, the ramifications from, I guess, and not just in your own city but in the world. Like, I mean, that would be incredibly hard, right? So this poor little guy, when he found this key, he started this epic quest, on this hunt for his dad. And I felt like a kindred spirit with Oscar the whole entire time as he was going through this journey, because I mean, as you know, this whole year of magical learning journey is like my own quest, right? It's my own quest to stay connected to my daughter. I don't have some key that I found that she left me, but what I did have is her values that she left me, and I've been certain. I'm not going around the 5 boroughs, I guess, if you will, of New York, but I'm certainly going around anywhere and everywhere searching for the next value that I can find for my daughter, and and spend time with her and stay connected with her. And these things really matter to me. So as I got thinking more and more and more on this whole entire topic, started to make me think about, like, how does an epic quest like Oscar's start? How does the quest that I'm on, how does these things start? And for me, I always go back to pain is the catalyst a lot of times for these epic quests that get launched in people's lives, because pain is just so powerful, and it's something that you seared into your brain. I wrote in this reflection, like, if you could distill down happiness into its purest form, into a drug or something like that, and give it to me every single day, I still don't think it would be as powerful as what I feel every single day when I wake up to go, keep going on my quest. So felt very connected to Oscar through the whole story, and felt very, very much so. Yeah, I mean, like, rooting for him on his pain-filled quest, to find whatever answers he was looking to find. And obviously, we all know there is no answers. Like, there is no. I don't know what I'm searching for. I don't know. Another reflection down the road is it's I don't know where I'm going, but I know how I'll get there, kind of thing. And that's kind of how Oscar led his journey, and how I led leading my journey as well. So yeah, I mean, I know you have different opinions, so I'd love to dive into this a little bit of the concept of every epic quest beginning from pain, but either way, it's how do you harness. My question I left for everybody is how do you harness your pain to propel you forward as well? Similar to Oscar, similar to myself, or whatever you're going through. So yeah, I'd love to pause there and get your thoughts.
Yeah, so I think you and I have differences in terms of our perceptions on pain, but I think I've seen a different view of pain today, and kind of now hearing you talking about the pain. I think for me, in a way, I agree. But I think I need to clarify what pain is. And to me, the pain that most of what you're describing, which is only now that I'm able to decipher between the two, which is the physical pain and the emotional pain, which is the mental pain. I think the mental pain is to me is what you're talking about.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. And so if you talk about mental pain, I wouldn't have any I wouldn't have any disagreement with you on that. It's a physical pain that I say, well, you're talking about pain, right? Pain could be physical, could be mental,
Sure.
but I think if you only take the mental in your claim as, it helps you find, your purpose. It makes you be wanting to, um, like you said, it's much more powerful than any pill that anyone can give you.
Yeah.
And so I think the main point here is your emotional pain is the thing we're talking about, not any other pain. And I'm not sure how many other pains are there, but I'm saying right now, from my mind, there's two kind of pain. One is physical, and the other is mental, which is
Sure.
emotional, right?
Yeah.
And I think the emotional is what gets you the most.
Yeah.
The bodily pain is nothing. So for me, that's why I kind of get tripped up by the pain when you say, hey, pain, it's one of those things where you have to have pain to gain something or to go forward and whatnot. And I say, well, why, when you don't have to go through pain to grow,
Right. I
right?
didn't. Yeah, I agree. I don't think you have to go through pain to grow. I think that you have to feel pain to go on an epic quest. You know what I mean? Like to make it a part of your life, to change your life. It's that atomic bomb. It's the Oscar had an atomic bomb that went off in his life. Like I
Mm-hmm.
mean his. I mean I know this is a story, right? But I mean, I don't know. You could go probably look at every epic quest that's ever been throughout humanity, and I mean we could probably name a few right now. Like let's just say the pilgrims that came over from England or whatever to start the colonies or whatever. They were in pain. I mean they wanted.
Well, they, like I said, I would agree with you now, because I understand what you're referring to, which is
Right.
emotional pain. And I think, I don't have any other example of what it is not. And so I would have to agree with you that yes, I would tend to agree with you that, it needs to have the pain, which is emotional pain, which is
Yeah.
the mental anguish. And to me, the mental pain, it's essentially having lost something that belongs to you and having need for an answer to fulfill that missing piece.
Right.
Because, for example, for
Or just to
you,
stay connected, like or just to feel like that it's still a
well,
part of your
no,
life.
because the thing is, you would not have feel the pain if you never had Amelia. You feel
Right.
so much pain because she came to you, right? She came to you for 40 days,
Right.
right? And then she's missing. And that's, to me, the separations and the missing part of things that you had. It's what the mental anguish becomes so great. Same thing with Oscar, right? He has his dad and he has this games that he plays with his dad when he's young. And then when he's no longer there, right? There's a part of his life feels like it's missing something,
Yeah.
right? And when you have something that's missing, a part of yourself, you're not yourself. And and that's the case is when you are in that state, then you are looking for an answer. And anything would try like the key, or with you, your memory of your daughter will give you the energy and fuel to go on a
Keep
quest like
searching. Right. Yeah.
request like we said before is a question.
Right.
I want to know, something, right? Whatever it is, what is this key for? What will my daughter be like? If she were still alive, right? That's why the missing the miss the I guess the state of missing something forces you to find it in any way possible.
Right.
It's a powerful drive.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
for me, like,
Exactly.
like I said, only today that I'm able to have that a little bit more understanding of what you meant when you say pain. Because before I would say, well, in pain in general, there's a bunch of pain, so it's not necessarily going to be, if you give me some physical pain that it's gonna make me this or that and other. It won't drive me necessarily, right? It could, but it's not always. But I think having a specific target on what kind of pain that is, I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And today I would agree with you,
Yeah.
because I can't find any other ways to say, well, not all the cases will actually matches up.
Right. Pain's a difficult topic for me personally. And then we've talked about this a lot, I feel like, just going back to what you were saying, I was telling my wife this the other day, actually. We were on a walk and just walking around and talking about Amelia while we were walking Luca around. And I told her, like, and she agrees with me 100%, but I told her, like, I don't know how we got on this topic, but I feel like literally a part of me died, when Amelia died. Like, I mean, I don't know how to describe it better than that, but it's there's a piece of me missing,
And that's how I see it.
Right.
Right. Because the thing is, if Amelia, if you never had Amelia, you would not have missing that. But once you had to make the connections there, you become a different person. And then when she died, it's when you're missing that part of yourself. You're no longer that person.
Exactly.
And so you always strive to make yourself whole again.
Right. Or at this point in time, I know what I'm doing, like, rationally, and I'm okay with it.
You need to have something to feel, whether that's a quest, whether that's this year of magical learning, or your pivot on your life, on the outlook, and the way you live your life. The values you hold now are different than before your daughter came.
100%. So I remember what we were talking about when we were on this walk. So we were listening to a book recently about we always listen to an audiobook together these days when we're going on walks and stuff. That we started a new book, and it's called The Anomaly. It's like a fiction book that she had interest in, and I was like, yeah, fine. She likes fiction, so we've been doing this fiction book together, and one of the characters in this book was dying of cancer, and they were talking about treatment options, and they were like, look, basically you're gonna die, and then they were talking about, well, should we go through chemo? Should we try radiation? Should we do all this? And they were talking about all the side effects, and I was telling her, like, I don't get why people do that, and I don't. She was like, well, people want to fight for that last few minutes of time that they can have with people, and I go, I don't want that. Like, I was like, I get that, but, like, I don't want the last few minutes of my time with my closest loved ones to be spent puking in a bucket and knowing that I'm going to die and trying anything and everything to, my quality of life being shit. I was like, I'd rather spend that time now, like, in doing the things that I care about with the people that I care about, and know that if that ever happens to me, that I feel okay with that. And that's the paradigm shift that Amelia put me into. Is like, I don't want to be I'm not afraid if somebody told me tomorrow that I had terminal cancer. I'd be like, well, that, it is what it is. I'm happy with my life right now. It's like, it goes back to like Tuesdays with Maury, right? Where it's like, the perfect day is ordinary. And he discovered this stuff when he was diagnosed with ALS, and he was reflecting back on his life, and he's like, if I could do anything, I would do the stuff that I've always done, which is, I feel happy doing this stuff for the people that I love to do it, and I feel fulfilled, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with what happens. We all die, right? And as we were talking through this thing, I mean, to your point, like, this is not the perspective that I would have had before. Before Amelia. I mean, I would have been terrified if I would have been diagnosed with cancer and terminal cancer, and been like, yeah, I'm going to fight. Like, it's a fine line, right? I talk a lot about enduring. We talk about a lot of enduring and fighting and never quitting and all that other stuff, right? Like, I'm meaning that right now. Like, when shit gets thrown in your face and you can survive and overcome, like, you fight. Like Amelia, she fought for every single breath that she had in this world, and I will never not fight for the chance at life. But if it's not possible, I'm going to make sure that I'm fighting for the chance to be fulfilled now in my life. When I feel good, when I feel healthy, when I feel like able to do the stuff that I can do and that I want to do it, I'm going to go do that stuff. Like, that's what living is to me, like, not, anything else. Right. Like, and I feel like if you do that, you don't have to worry about this kind of stuff going forward. I think you'll know what to do when the time comes. Right. But yeah, I mean, It's
Right. It's
yeah,
almost like you rearranging your environment so that you don't feel the pain. Just because
yeah,
if you have terminal cancer and you say I need to do chemo and all that, you go through all the pain and the worries of not missing out on time with your family. But if you rearrange your environment and your thinking, your mindset, and then it eases that pain because you can say, well, I know that everybody's gonna die, and I'm okay with it because I can spend this time with the people I want to be with, and I gonna do with the things that I want to do with versus trying to do something else that I don't want to do, and then worry about things that I don't have enough time to do that because I'm busy doing chemo. I'm busy trying
right,
to prolong my life, right?
right,
And so you going through like an anguish state, and knowing because like you have already experienced the pain, and that pain allows you to gain a new perspective. And like I
correct,
said, for me, like pain is I'm not going to say it doesn't propel you. It's one of the most powerful forces, but it's not the only forces. So I mean, like I said, I can't give you other exceptions, but I think there are, there has to be other options. But you have to kind of be able to gain that perspective like you did, to say, well, if I have terminal cancer today, I can handle it.
right,
It's not going to be painful for me. But for someone who isn't prepared, it's going to be a big deal. I mean, the world just collapsed, and they
right,
go into this depressed state and worry and scare, and everything that goes into their mind will go.
right. Yeah, well, let me know when you come up with whatever the something more powerful than the pain is, because like
Right,
I
like I said,
yeah,
pain is certainly one of the most powerful, but I'm not saying that something
I
is
don't
more
disagree.
powerful. I'm just saying, hey, it's not 100%. It could be like 90% or
Right.
80%, but not
I
100%.
agree.
There are some other one, maybe smaller forces, but still, it's still a force nonetheless.
I agree. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not out there. I'm just saying, like, let me know when like, hope,
But this
let
is
me know
what
when
it's
you do.
all about, right? It's
Right.
all about trying to trying to learn, trying to understand more and more. And as we like I said today, I understand a little bit more about what you meant, right? I didn't before, because I kind of confused all the pain together, the mental pain and the physical pain together. But today I noticed that most of the thing you're talking about is not physical pain, but the
No,
mental pain, the emotional that
no,
goes,
I
because
didn't say
you're not
physically. I didn't.
suffering
Right.
physically at all.
No, physically, I never suffered through this whole entire
All right. And then that's
event.
that's the thing, is
Yeah.
that's what
Right.
I've learned today.
Right. I mean,
And I
it's
kind of, when I hear you going through this reflection, I say, well, I see a pattern today. All right. Yeah,
yeah.
he's talking about the emotional pain that he goes through, not the physical pain, which was not in my didn't cross my mind before, because before I was kind of lumping the two together.
Right. Yeah. That's the whole purpose through pain, right? That's the whole. That's how I ended up finding you. I mean, like that was how we connected on all this stuff. It was because like
Mhm.
I was like this. I'm chasing my daughter. I mean, like, and I'm gonna bring as many people along the ride as I can, and I'm glad that you're on this ride with me. I mean, I'm so grateful that you're doing this stuff with me, because like it helps me to keep going on this quest. I need you to do this quest together. I mean, like at a certain point in time, Amelia is always going to be the driver that makes me, keep doing this stuff. But like this quest is bigger than me now. Oscar's
Mhm.
quest turned into something bigger than Oscar in the book, right? It united a
Right.
whole lot of other people. Like, and that's what the power of a great quest is, right? I'm not saying that you're not on your own quest. You are. I mean, we'll unite up on everybody's quests along the journey, right?
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
just hitching a ride together,
right,
along the way. Say, hey, you going that way? Oh, I'm going that way too.
exactly,
Eventually, our quest going to diverge in different directions, but until then, we're on this same path together, and
right,
yeah, and um, we could use each other's support.
exactly. And that's that's what this is all about, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, well, I appreciate you listening to this one. This one was a little bit more, touchy feely, I would say, than most of our topics, but all is important, and understanding this whole year of magical learning, right? So
Hmm.
yeah, the question, any final thoughts, or do you want to, finish off with the question for the audience here, and we can
Yeah,
keep going?
I think like pain could be one of those things where it could be used for bettering yourself or make you feel worse. So
Yeah,
you gotta figure it out, which you should, which um which one you want, right?
yeah,
Because sometimes pain could put you into a spiraling depression.
right.
And
Pain,
is that what you want? Or you can say, hey, I'm going to use this pain to get out of it and to uh, jettison out of whatever places you don't want to be. Just like for you, Chris, you rise from the crumbles, from the other
right,
rubbles, and then you build, Amelia Tower. You build, this new self, right? Or you could be some depressed person, divorced and lonely and sad. Well, it's a choice. But when pain comes, um, you have a choice.
yeah, you
You
definitely
to,
do.
to harness it or to let it, run over you. So
Yeah.
that's my final thought.
Yeah, and yeah, we'll have plenty more conversations to come in the future around topic of pain, but my final thought is, anybody that talks about this kind of stuff in the terms of this is beneficial to somebody, like, they don't understand it at all, like, because it's never beneficial, because no matter what city arises from the ashes of anybody's life, if they choose to take that path and turn their pain into a purpose, um, it's always built on rubble. It's always built on destruction. It's always built on a life that they didn't want to have gone, disappeared.
Hmm.
It's a I don't know. I get really, 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 I don't get touchy about a lot of things these days, but I get really touchy about when people talk about pain and, like, no pain, no gain. Like you go find the pain so you can, experience the gains, right? It's like, no, you don't understand. If you think that's the case, then you don't understand pain.
Right.
Like, and if that's what you're, don't go searching for pain. It'll find you.
It
Like,
will
no matter
come.
what, no
It
matter,
will come.
right, it'll find you. Like, just be ready for what you're gonna do with it when it comes. And that's like,
Right.
that's the most important thing about this whole year magical learning journey for everybody else following along, is
Hmm.
if we can help other people to understand these things, and to help prepare them for choosing purpose, in the future, or giving them an ecosystem to channel their pain into, into something else bigger, like, than themselves. Like, that's what we want. That's what we're here for. Like, that's
Hmm.
what this is all about. So so I hope that's the case. If anybody's out there listening to this and, wants to, a platform or ecosystem or others to talk about and to channel this stuff, like, where to find us. So come
Yeah.
find us, and yeah, we'll welcome you with open arms. But until then, leave you with the question of, how can you harness your pain to propel you forward? And if that means joining our little ragtag crew of club members, then come on down. And we'll
Yeah.
see you all tomorrow.
Right. Sounds good. Bye.